Hello Facebookers, this is Jason Mohammad. We're getting ready for final score here in the green room, and here's somebody that... This is Mr. Dan Walker.
Hello everybody.
Fresh from... How weird is this? It's usually you holding the camera and you humiliating me.
Should we do some thread the needle?
But instead, it's that. What on earth are you... Is this some sort of detox?
Well, explain. This, look at look at this. This is putty.
That's his putty.
This is going to get inserted via...
Syringe.
Where's your syringe? Into my ear hole. That goes in there, and then it hardens and gets yanked out, and then that's how we make a little earpiece. There's Dean Saunders had one done there, Jace.
That's Dean Saunders' ear.
Left ear.
There, on a piece of kitchen paper.
And that's how, during the programme, the editor, director, they talk to us.
Can we watch this? Can we do this live? We should be talking to two pundits about today's football.
Well, once it's in, I can't talk. So
You're okay for the moment?
Okay. I can do a running commentary.
This is just a
What's your
cotton
name,
block.
by the way? We met last year, didn't we?
Yeah, Janine Forshaw.
Hello, Janine.
Hi. So, cotton block going in the ear to protect you.
Don't go too close, Jay. Not too.
You're miles away.
Dan, when was the last time you cleaned your ears?
1998.
I could see out the other side.
Okay, here we go. This is
Other
exclusive
side.
access to live at BBC Sports.
Are you sure you don't want to speak to Martin and Dee?
Yeah, we're going to do it now. What's that white thing hanging out of his ear, Janine?
A piece of cotton.
Right, okay, there we are.
Pull it
Now
out.
you know, guys, now you know how Dan and I, here our editors, our directors, our producers, it's all thanks to an earpiece. But let's face it, Dan, we don't listen to them. We don't listen to them. There's no point. There's Chris who's on the jib today. Hello, Chris.
Hello, how's it going?
He's on the jib, on camera, in studio. Here's Master Martin Keown is here.
Jason,
ladies
how
and
are
gentlemen, come and take a seat, sir.
Thank you
And
very
then Dean Saunders. Good afternoon, Dean.
Late substitution.
What happened? Ben, the editor today. What happened, Ben?
12-year-old Ben.
What happened, Ben?
Poor Trevor Sinclair went ill, so Dean has kindly filled the gap.
Do you know what he's doing?
Trevor.
Do you know what he's doing?
Best wishes, Trevor.
He uses and abuses me. I'm sub today. He's brought me in, and while I'm here, what he normally does is, can I do Facebook? Can I do another one? Can I do Planet Earth with David Attenborough? He's asked me to film that now. Planet Earth. While I'm here. While I'm here. I do 9 shows while I'm here in the afternoon.
Right then, lads, let's talk about the game. Dean, you've watched the first half. Martin has just arrived because he's been on a train. What have you made of Burnley, the way they started?
Well, one thing that Sean Dyche does, he guarantees you 3 things before he goes out on the pitch. We're more organised than you, we work harder than you, and we're better at set pieces than you. And they've scored the first goal from a worked set piece in training, long ball, which I actually use it with my teams. It's the same thing. You have 2 going for a flick on, ball dink down the middle, 3 make a circle around the ball, and no matter who heads the ball, they get to the ball first. And it's dropped perfect for Mane. He's volleyed it in. Aguero's got one back.
Aguero's got one back. And talking of Aguero, it's a typical Aguero finish, isn't it? He's just right place, right time, Martin.
Well, that's what good strikers do. They're predators, aren't they? They're there in that box, just that little area in front of the goalkeeper. You can't go to sleep if you're a defender, because he'll punish you, and he's done that.
City to go on to win this one, though, Martin?
Well, they should be. I mean, I've not seen anything of the game, but I'm really surprised it's 1-1, especially after Burnley getting battered last week against West Bromwich Albion. But they're a different side at home. They've already beaten Liverpool there earlier in the season. So, yeah, if Man City can win there today, they'll see that as 3 really important points.
Big 45 minutes coming up, Dean.
Yeah, well, Man City look as if they're going to cut through them at any minute, but Burnley are a lot happier when they haven't got the ball. When they had the ball against West Brom, they got beaten up on the counter-attack, but they're quite happy when they're defending. But it's whether Man City's cutting moves
could be another set piece coming
goal
from Burnley. I mean, they're just looking now at a couple of balls coming into the box, and Burnley look pretty lively, and Man City need to do that job properly.
Yeah.
That's part of it. You can play your football, but when you go to Burnley, you've got to be able to defend, particularly from set pieces.
Lads, we're going to talk about Liverpool, Sunderland and also Chelsea Spurs. But Dean, I just want to ask you about Sean Dyche, because we're talking about Burnley, it's his side, and some comments he made in the newspapers on Sunday about tactics. He said the current top 4 are statistically the teams with the top high-speed runs, top mileage, top distances. Quite a long interview. But basically, I get the feeling what he's trying to say is Klopp, Guardiola, Pochettino, Antonio Conte getting all the plaudits for this pressing game. But you were doing that like 20 years ago, weren't you?
Yeah, it's just like fashion, as if pressing's just been invented. Some of these managers actually, they talk as if they've just invented football and invented hard work. Years and years ago, when I played with Ian Rush, and we pressed. Well, we played against mine. He'll tell you, we used to set we used to set the press up, and we used to do it
was a
25 years ago. And I've got to be honest with you, I hope Sean Dyche wins this game today, because Guardiola's supposed to be the best manager in the world, but he's not been to Burnley before. When you go to Burnley and try and get a
Well, we know
result.
that. Well, Jurgen Klopp's side struggled up there. They lost 2-0. This is what he went on to say. You don't have to be a European to know how a team's got to work hard. English managers were talking about this pressing many, many years ago.
I think what he's doing there is he's saying that it's not all about the foreign managers. It's become foreign players. It's now foreign managers. They're the in-fashion thing. He's probably just waving a flag at young, good English managers and saying this is how we do things. But listen, I feel for him to be totally convincing, they need to get a better balance. You do need to have a lot of possession. You need to do good things with the ball as well. We know they work hard. We look at Boyd, covers more distance than any other player. Sometimes you can run too much. Can we give you the ball? You know, it's an economy of movement. It's not silly running. It's intelligent movement. And let's see what you can do with the ball and without. It's that balance, and the top teams have that balance. And I think that's what he needs to show Sean Dyche with his team, that he has got that balance as well.
You do get the feeling, though, when I look back at this interview, and I'm just reading from the newspaper now, Dean, he says, however, Antonio Conte's a mixed bag, because sometimes he absorbs, sometimes he presses, and perhaps you can see the difference in Chelsea and the way they've defended and the clean sheets they're keeping on this great run.
That's not rocket science either. I mean, I played for Wales. If we played against Brazil, the managers say, don't press these in their half. They just play through you. Too good. Don't try and press Liverpool at Anfield. Just drop off. Don't try and press them today. You play Finland at home for Wales, go and press them. They're not good enough. It's not rocket science. So all the manager of Chelsea does is tells them when and where to press. And that's not genius. To be honest with you, I mean...
We saw that midweek with Arsenal, didn't we, against PSG? I mean, if you give anyone time and space, they'll punish you, and Arsenal did that in the first half. It wasn't until the second half they decided to go and mix it with PSG, and Arsenal was suddenly better. They then stepped off for 10 minutes and they conceded a goal thereafter. But I think the way that Conte plays, he's very interesting, because I don't think that tactically he is particularly good when he plays a 4. But when he plays 3 at the back, he knows that the role and responsibility of every single player. He stitches that information into the team, and boy, do they go and play. But we've not seen yet David Luiz really exposed down the middle because of those 2 midfield players that work incredibly hard. And if you can get into those areas, and Tottenham might be able to do that this evening, that's a fascinating game to see how that one unfolds.
What about Liverpool-Sunderland today? Expect Liverpool to win this and win it well, Dean?
Liverpool on fire,
especially at home as well.
And yeah, it's not foreign manager bashing this morning. I think Jurgen Klopp's done a brilliant job so far, and I think all the players believe in him. And he just tells them when and where to press. And the reason Daniel Sturridge is not playing, I don't know if he'll pick him today, but the reason he doesn't play up the front instead of Firmino is because Firmino's better at pressing. He's better at getting the ball back. So he's drummed that into the players, and he's probably drummed it through to the under-23s and the under-18s. If you don't work, you can't play for Liverpool. Mind you, you had a good attitude as a player, and I like to think that I worked hard. I tried and worked hard. That's just a given. That's all supporters expect. We're talking about hard work.
Yeah.
Everybody should work hard.
But it's organised work, isn't it? So when you press in packs. You don't just go in isolation. You've got to have, because you'll just get picked off. And I think that's what Liverpool are very good at. So if you're Milner and you've gone on a forward run, you don't go retreating back to left back, as we might have done. You go after the ball in high up the pitch as you can. It doesn't matter what position you're in. You've got to win it back as quickly as possible. And I think that's something Liverpool do better than anybody else at the moment.
What I would say is that's why they concede goals as well. Because if you break that press, if you get through that press, you're at their back 4. So they're more or less saying, well, we're gonna hunt the ball back in your half, and 6 or 7 of us can score a goal, which they are. The goals are coming from everywhere. But if you break the press, we might concede a few, and that's what's happening.
George says, what about when Daniel Sturridge plays, though, Dean, because he doesn't have the running power or the intensity anymore to press consistently or effectively?
For me, him and Aguero are the best, most talented strikers
in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, naturally. Everything Sturridge does, he's looking to cut you open. Every pass he makes, every bit of work he does round the box is all looking to cut you open. And I think he's really dangerous. But there's a bit more to it than that. And I'll go back to Ian Rush again, who I played with all my life, and I used to look up to him.
He was Liverpool's best defender, wasn't he?
He was the best defender on the pitch. And his first thought was, Who can I catch on the ball? And that's the way Firmino thinks. And that's why he's getting the nod in front of Sturridge.
Interesting what Jurgen Klopp has said. We talk about the best player on the pitch is usually the number 10 because of the creation that he gives you, because he's the one who picks a pass for somebody else who's at the top of the team. He's saying winning the ball high up the pitch is better than what any best number 10 can create in the world of football, because if we can win the ball high up the pitch, close to the opposition goal, we can really punish the opposition. So he puts more of an emphasis on winning that ball back than he does on a really good number 10.
Jed asks, Martin, I need to know this. Do Liverpool need to buy in January to reinforce their defence?
I think they've done that already in the summer. They bought 2 or 3 central defenders. I'm not sure if they're better than what Skirtle that went out the door, but he's mixed it up. Maybe in that midfield area he wants to do something. Is it going to be Chan or Henderson? But I think it's all about moods with Jurgen Klopp. And I think if you go through the history of Liverpool Football Club, you've got to go back to Bill Shankly in the '74 for someone that is connected with the fans and has the mood and the emotion of Liverpool like he does, because he is really something special and he creates a real mood. I'd want to play for him now. If I could put my boots back on, there was a manager out there, I'd want to play for him.
Quick question about Crystal Palace, boys, as well. Just end on this before we go back to the second half, Dean. And Palace are at your boys today. They're at Swansea City, both clubs desperate for a win. And this person, whose name I can't read at the moment because it's just flicked up the screen, says, I think Pardew will be sacked today if they lose at Swansea.
Well, he's got a history of being streaky manager, hasn't he? He gets like 15 without getting beat, and then he goes 15 without getting a win. Yeah. And he's always done that. But if you look at the spending power of both the clubs we're talking about, if you were going to have a bet before the season started, you'd bet that both of them would be down where they are.
Including Palace, really?
Well, have a look at their playing budget. Have a look how much money they've spent. It's not a lot. I know they bought Benteke for a lot of money. Bearing in mind, Kit Simons was telling me...
It's Andrew, by the way. Thank you, Andrew. He's just written back saying it's Andrew.
All right. Well, Andrew, 3 years ago, Kit Simons was telling me they couldn't afford the flu jabs at Palace, and they paid 20-odd million for Benteke all of a sudden. That's how football's changed. But you've got to... They're going to get rough rides. The teams at the bottom are all going to get Burnley, Watford. They're all going to get games where they can't... runs of games where they've gone 7 without a win. And Palace and Swansea are in that at the moment. They've just got to come out of it.
Thank you, boys. Martin, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
2:30, red button on Score, and then we are also on then from 4:30 on BBC One. Bye for now.